Happy New Year, and welcome back to the Kaspa Silver YouTube channel. Today's video is entitled Kaspa, a crypto company or cryptocurrency. I get a lot of questions underneath my videos asking me about other cryptos that exist and comparing them to Kaspa. I have this one here saying, can you see the difference between Kwai Network and Kaspa? I responded saying yes, Kwai is a company and Kaspa is a currency. And this is a fundamental thing that you need to understand, because understanding this will help you see why Kaspa is different from the rest and why I personally have this very strict conservative investment strategy within cryptocurrency, and that is simply only buying and investing into Kaspa or Bitcoin. These are the only coins that I'm interested in because Bitcoin has network effects and a lot of things that cannot be ignored when you do the research on Bitcoin. And then Kaspa is coming into the space with a lot of improvements and innovations that simply I personally cannot ignore, because I want to be a part of a possible wave of innovation in the cryptocurrency space, because I believe Kaspa has actually brought back to life the currency part of crypto, which was originally brought in by Bitcoin, but has recently lost that narrative. And I think Kaspa is really going to capitalize on this goal of being a currency. When I get asked about these other cryptos and compare them to Kaspa, there's typically one thing I instantly do when I go to their website. I look to see if their website contains something like careers, or maybe something like a company or something like that. Because once I see this, I can already write this crypto off as not comparable with Kaspa. Whenever you have a crypto that gets created and you have an option for careers, that means that there's basically a company involved behind this coin, and there's people that created the coin to mainly focus on profiting off of its creation. And you could see here that the Kwai network has applications for you to fill out and work for Kwai network. Not only that, you also have to look at the Genesis allocations, the amount of coins that were distributed to people before they actually went to the public. So you could see here that Kwai Network has 33% of it going to the foundation that exists. And so, in my opinion, this coin is actually a crypto company, not a cryptocurrency. The primary focus and goal is not to be a peer-to-peer electronic cash system or a currency, but instead a coin that's going to fund the operations of what these devs want to do with this coin. So at the end of the day, it's almost like a tech company, but they just basically were able to get around security laws by making a coin. And then now they can profit off of you, the investor, buying in after all of these people got the coin before you did. And so this coin that's going to be releasing pretty soon here, you could probably bank on the fact that, yep, it's probably going to go up in price. You're probably going to see it get popular out of nowhere. And then longer term, though, they're going to fail. Longer term, the longevity of these coins is just simply not going to work because of the centralization issues that they have when coming into the space. Another coin that gets asked a lot is this other one that I don't even want to butcher the name, but the ticker symbol is XEL. And one thing that is an automatic write-off for me is a block dev fee. The block dev fee is 10%. So that means every time someone is mining on this network, 10% of the block reward, instead of going fully to the miner, 10% of it goes to the devs. So the people who created the coin, which just basically incentivizes these devs to remain in power, and there's no community focus on this coin. It just makes it a little bit more centralized than Kaspa. Kaspa has no block dev fee. Everything is operated by community donations, and so the incentives to work on Kaspa are not really because I'm going to receive a payment. The only way you receive a payment for working on Kaspa is if you actually contribute to Kaspa first. And then we as a community vote on whether or not this person should receive funding for their efforts. So it just makes Kaspa a much more honest system because the people who are going to work on it actually have to first want to willingly work on it with basically no guarantee of payment. The last coin I'm going to look at that's always talked about comparing with Kaspa, which there's just absolutely no comparison, is KDA. You can literally just click the about and see that there's an option here for company, a stronger foundation for global finance. There's literally a company behind KDA. So it just ruins the project's decentralization efforts. And also, at the end of the day, these projects are not currencies. Like I said, they are pretty much platforms to try to implement smart contracts or something like that. Their goal is simply a DApp platform, decentralized apps to exist. And they're hoping that people will invest into them. And then the people, the founders, and everyone who got in early because of allocations will be able to profit off of this. There's no cryptocurrency focus. And this is what separates Kaspa from pretty much 99% of other cryptos and why I ignored 99% of other cryptos. Two things I want to add also is take a look at Kaspa and the focus they have on this decentralization aspect of the development, where now they just say here, in the interest of transparency and knowledge sharing, Kaspa's core research and development discussions, which were previously private, will now be made public in a view-only Telegram group at this link here. So now you can actually openly see all the devs' conversations about future Kaspa development and be in the know about what's going on and what their minds are leaning towards. This allows us to be able to have thoughts and opinions and discuss them in a very open, decentralized manner. And the last thing I want to add is that since these other cryptos that, in my opinion, are crypto companies, operate in a way that lacks decentralization, I was saying that there is no longevity with them and that there are no actual long-term believers, because the reason why Kaspa has longevity with it is because it is viewed as a currency. It's viewed as a better money than the fiat, which encourages and incentivizes people to actually save their capital in Kaspa. With these other cryptos, they are not a place where people want to long-term save their capital. They want to simply invest for a time period. And then when something shinier comes around, they're going to want to swap that money into whatever is shinier, because they are just looking at it on a tech perspective. What is better? This looks like it's going to be better this year, so I'm just going to invest in this. Whereas Kaspa, being a cryptocurrency and focusing on being a better money, a different solution to our fiat currency that is printed infinitely, it's actually viewed as a savings tool, which gives it a lot more longevity. If I want centralization, a company to invest in, I'll go to the stock market. But in crypto, I'm primarily focused on peer-to-peer electronic stateless cash, digital cash currency that has no central authority, that's fully decentralized, that I'm in control of my funds. I can practice self-sovereignty of my funds. That is what Kaspa brings to the world. And it takes time for people to really grasp this. But over time, I believe it's going to become so fundamentally important because of the fact that we're rapidly going into a world where we're going to be focused on digital money. Cash is going to be ruled out in the longer term, and I can pretty much guarantee that. And when we move to this new digital currency where the government has control over all of our money, you're going to want to have something that's actually censorship resistant, has no central authority, no issuer, or anything like that. And Kaspa is going to be one of those top currencies to be a solution for this type of future. Here's a chart that I show commonly on this channel, but just showing token allocations for tons of different coins. You can see Ethereum, Binance, Polkadot, Cardano, Solana. All of these coins had allocations where some of the coins went to insiders, the team, the company, or VCs. And pretty much when you're investing into these coins, you're just funding these people who are able to acquire the supply first in a very unfair manner. Eventually, they dump on everyone because especially the VCs that get allocations, they get token unlocks. So when they get an allocated portion of the coin, they're not allowed to sell it until a future date. So ultimately, it locks them in. So then they wait for the retail investor to get in, pump up the coin. And then when their unlock comes, they're just going to sell, get it for a profit. And like I said, there's no longevity with many of these coins. And if there is some type of longevity where they are sticking around, you are pretty much being outperformed by Bitcoin at the end of the day. Now, I understand Kaspa in its current state is being outperformed by Bitcoin as well. But in my opinion, this is just hardcore cherry picking because we obviously know that things don't happen overnight. Markets don't just skyrocket to the upside forever. It takes time. And what Bitcoiners fail to tell you is that Kaspa was first appreciating against Bitcoin, and Bitcoin actually lost 99% of its value in the first 2 years of Kaspa's existence. And only just now has it been leveling off after losing 99%. And if we look at it on the flip side, Kaspa gaining against Bitcoin, Kaspa gained over 127,000% against Bitcoin first before now leveling off and consolidating. And in my opinion, I believe more all-time highs are going to be in its future. And within the next decade, I think Kaspa is going to outperform Bitcoin in the long run. But I could be wrong about this, but it's a bet that I'm willing to make and a risk that I'm willing to take. But I'm not really too concerned because I'm a long-term minded investor, and Kaspa has properties for lasting long term and having longevity, unlike these other centralized cryptos. So the goal of Kaspa is to be a cryptocurrency and not a crypto company. And what's a currency? It's a medium of exchange for goods and services. In general, it's money in the form of paper and coins, usually issued by a government and generally accepted at its face value as a method of payment. But Kaspa is different because there is no issuer. It is fully decentralized and open source. It says here currency is the primary medium of exchange in the modern world, having long ago replaced bartering as a means of trading goods and services. In the 21st century, a new form of currency has entered the vocabulary and realm of exchange: virtual currency, also known as cryptocurrency. Virtual currencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum — I don't know why they say Ethereum here, because Ethereum, again, it's not a cryptocurrency, it's basically a crypto company — have no physical form or government backing in the United States. They are traded and stored electronically. And this is the future we're going into, where there's going to be digital currencies. And I'm pretty sure that you're going to want to make sure you understand what is cryptocurrency, real cryptocurrency, and possibly allocate some of your capital into a cryptocurrency that has sound fundamentals. Things like, in my opinion, Kaspa or Bitcoin. Another thing that Kaspa brings back to life is the cypherpunk era. This is what Bitcoin brought to life, which was one who advocates the widespread use of strong cryptography and privacy-enhancing technologies as a means of affecting social and political change. The cypherpunk movement originated in the late 1980s and gained traction with the establishment of the cypherpunks electronic mailing list in 1992, where informal groups of activists, technologists, and cryptographers discussed strategies to enhance individual privacy and resist state or corporate surveillance. Deeply libertarian in philosophy, the movement is rooted in principles of decentralization, individual autonomy, and freedom from centralized authority. And these are the things that these other crypto companies lack. They don't have these three things: decentralization, individual autonomy, and freedom from centralized authority. Before Bitcoin, there was actually a lot of attempts of making a e-currency, an electronic currency. And one of the main problems was that centralization aspect. And I think looking back and looking at today, we can see that that was true. We have a quote here from Satoshi himself saying, "A lot of people automatically dismiss e-currency as a lost cause because of all the companies that failed since the 1990s. I hope it's obvious it was only the centrally controlled nature of those systems that doomed them. I think this is the first time we're trying a decentralized, non-trust based system." And Bitcoin basically just started the revolution. And I believe Kaspa is the only thing to actually be possibly the next step of that Bitcoin revolution, where I believe Kaspa and Bitcoin are actually going to coexist. but I am making the bet that Kaspa will outperform Bitcoin within the next decade. So it's so important to understand the decentralization aspect of Kaspa, and understanding this actually helps you to ignore a lot of the noise that happens on social media, that people who just simply don't really understand what Kaspa is actually bringing to the table here. Here's a clip from the founder of Kaspa of him obviously clearly showing that he understands the importance of decentralization.
I want the project to be very decentralized, and there's a natural tendency to form communities around founders, and I hope and wish the community to be formed around itself, and I wish myself to just be part of it. Thanks for everyone for coming, and just consider me one of the crowd.
And that's the founder, Jonathan Samplaninski, understanding that his role as a founder really doesn't hold much weight at all. Kaspa, at the end of the day, is open source, it's permissionless, it's decentralized, and we, the people, the holders, the miners, we actually control the network and we can dictate its future, not one single person. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. And before we go, if you guys have not considered getting yourself a Tangem wallet, Tangem has done a Kaspa branded wallet here, and there's about 2,298 left, and this is a great way to hold your Kaspa offline and off exchanges. I also want to make a note that if you are going to get the Tangem wallet, please do not use the seed phrase option. This defeats the whole purpose of this product if you choose to use the seed phrase option. So if you have Tangem and you're using the seed phrase option, I highly encourage you to look into stop using that seed phrase, or get a wallet that actually allows you to generate the seed phrase on a cold storage device like a Ledger or a OneKey. Those are going to be way better options if you're going to really want a seed phrase that you have to write down. Other than that, use Tangem without the seed phrase. It makes no sense in doing so. It defeats the purpose of your purchase. So if you are interested, you can use the code KaspaSilver at the checkout and you will get 10% off your order. I also receive a commission for this, and it greatly does support the channel. Make sure you check the link down below so you guys can join my Discord. It's open for anyone. And thank you guys so much for watching again. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here. And as always, don't be average, be different.